The frogs. The frogs are what we have been talking about and theorizing about for years now. We were all just made fools in the most recent episode of YELLOWJACKETS Season 3, Episode 7. Let's dive into it with full spoilers. After last week's huge cliffhanger with the hiker/scientist, this episode definitely delivered on giving us that entire story leading into everything that is going to follow for the remaining 3 episodes of this season. The characters we met at the end of Episode 6 were just a pair of scientists led by a guide who were looking to record a famous mating call by a specific frog that is found in the wilderness, and that frog has been creating a mating call that the girls believe to be the wilderness singing back at them. It is all a sham. I don't care what you believe at this point. Everything that is the YELLOWJACKETS regarding the wilderness, regarding the spirits, regarding the visions, it is 1000% an hallucination. The girls are imagining it in their heads, and this episode proved it. And I am absolutely okay with it because it makes total sense. These girls have been isolated and alone and stranded for months, over a year at this point. And it would make sense for them to create something in their mind after everything that they have experienced. The other members of their team that they have lost. The eating of people. And Lottie specifically, because of her psychological past, creating something that the girls could latch onto and then fully invest themselves in like this. This episode was crazy for a large part of it, specifically in the wilderness. Once we learned who the scientists were, how they came to come into contact with the girls, it just went nutso because Lottie, listening to the wilderness and thinking that's what she needs to do, took an axe to Edwin's head. And then proceeded for probably hours to bask in his blood and possibly eat the brains out of his head. If we thought Lottie was batshit before, there is no term imaginable that describes her now. And all of this, the chase, finding the 2 other people, it all leads us to the answers we've been wondering about this tape. We now have an answer as to where the tape came from, how it came to be. Hannah was responsible for turning on her recorder. She then recorded something for her daughter that we found out she had a kid back home from teen pregnancy, which then if you fast forward 25 years into the future, it would make sense for Hannah's daughter to be responsible for the tape, giving to the older Shauna, and basically sabotaging and tormenting them with this tape in the present timeline. Now, there's a couple of big questions that we have to be asking ourselves now. Now that we know where the tape came from, now we have to ask ourselves, who found the tape in the wilderness? Hannah took it off of her shoulder and she hid it before she was found. So who found the tape and who brought it back to civilization? And the second is, how long was Hannah part of the group? We had been told in the present timeline, Van had that line when the 4 girls were together that Hannah had gotten close to both Melissa and Jen at one point, which means that she was with them for quite a while before something would happen.